When bus driver Mark Thompson didn't show up for work and 12 children never arrived at school, everyone assumed the worst, a terrible accident somewhere on the route. Search teams scoured every road, every ditch, every possible crash site. They never thought to look in Thompson's own basement, where those children had been living for 6 months, believing the outside world had forgotten about them completely. But the truth about why Thompson took them, how he kept them hidden, and what he was preparing them for would shake the very foundation of how we think about child safety. This is the story of the longest missing children case that was solved not by finding bodies, but by finding survivors who were never supposed to see daylight again. September 15, 2023, Riverside County, California. The morning started like any other. Parents kissed their kids goodbye at bus stops across Pinewood Heights subdivision. Yellow school bus number 47 made its usual rounds first stop, Maple Street, where 8-year-old Emma Rodriguez climbed aboard with her oversized backpack. Second stop, Oak Avenue, where the Morrison twins, Jake and Sam, raced each other to the bus door, both trying to be first in line like they did every morning. By 7:42 a.m., all 12 children were seated. Third graders chattering about their math test. Fifth graders arguing about soccer tryouts. Normal kid conversations on a normal Tuesday morning. Mark Thompson had been driving that route for 8 years. Parents trusted him. Kids liked him. He knew every child's name, asked about their weekends, even helped carry heavy backpacks when needed. At 7:45 a.m., bus number 47 pulled away from the final stop. It should have arrived at Riverside Elementary at 8:15 a.m. It never did, and for 6 months, nobody looked in Mark Thompson's basement. If you're into true crime stories about missing children, systematic deception, and the disturbing psychology of those we trust most, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. 8:25 a.m., Riverside Elementary School. Principal Sarah Chen noticed immediately. Bus number 47 was late, which never happened. Mark Thompson ran his route like clockwork, same time, same route, every single day for 8 years. By 8:45 a.m., she was worried. By 9 a.m., she was making phone calls. This is Principal Chen at Riverside Elementary. We have 12 children who haven't arrived on bus number 47. Has there been an accident? The dispatcher's response chilled her. Ma'am, we haven't received any accident reports this morning. Let me connect you to the transportation department. Within an hour, the search began. Police traced the bus route backward, starting from the school. No skid marks, no broken guardrails, no signs of any accident whatsoever. They contacted parents. Every child had boarded the bus that morning. Emma Rodriguez's mother, Maria, had watched her daughter climb those familiar steps and wave goodbye from the window. The Morrison family had a security camera that clearly showed both twins getting on the bus at 7:38 a.m. But somewhere between Oak Avenue and Riverside Elementary, bus number 47 had simply vanished. Detective Lisa Park took the lead on the case. She handled missing children cases before, but never anything like this. 12 kids, 1 bus, 1 driver, all gone without a trace. In 20 years of law enforcement, she later told reporters, "I'd never seen anything that defied logic like this." Vehicles don't just disappear, especially not big yellow school buses. The search for bus number 47 became the largest missing children operation in Riverside County history. FBI agents joined local police. Search and rescue teams combed every possible route the bus could have taken. Helicopters scanned from above, ground teams searched on foot. They checked every body of water within a 50-mile radius. They investigated every abandoned building, every junkyard, every place large enough to hide a school bus. The community rallied. Volunteers printed thousands of flyers. Local businesses donated food and supplies to search teams. Social media exploded with hashtag #FindBus47 and photos of the missing children. But Mark Thompson was nowhere to be found either. His apartment was empty, cleaned out. His bank account had been closed the day before the disappearance. His cell phone went straight to voicemail. It looked like Thompson had planned this. But why and where were the children? The first theory was ransom. But no demands came, no contact at all. The second theory was trafficking. But there was no evidence Thompson had connections to any criminal networks. The third theory was the one nobody wanted to consider: mass murder. But without bodies, without a crime scene, there was no way to prove it. Detective Park interviewed Thompson's neighbors, his coworkers, his ex-girlfriend. Everyone described the same man: quiet, reliable, maybe a little socially awkward, but harmless. He'd never shown any inappropriate interest in children. His background check had been clean when he was hired. Mark was just normal, said Janet Wells, who lived next door to Thompson for 3 years. He kept to himself, but he was polite. He helped me carry groceries once when I hurt my back. I never would have suspected ... She trailed off because at that point, nobody knew what to suspect. For the families, each day brought a new kind of hell. Hope mixed with terror, waiting mixed with action. They organized search parties, contacted psychics, followed every possible lead no matter how unlikely. Maria Rodriguez quit her job to search full-time. "I couldn't sit at a desk knowing Emma was out there somewhere," she said. "Maybe hurt, maybe scared, maybe calling for her mama, and I'm not there." The Morrison family hired a private investigator. They mortgaged their house to pay for search efforts. But as weeks turned to months, the searches grew smaller. Media attention faded. The case went cold. By February 2024, most investigators privately believed the children were dead. The question wasn't whether they'd find the kids alive, it was whether they'd ever find the bodies. Detective Park never gave up, but she was realistic. 6 months is an eternity in a missing children case, she admitted. After that long, you're usually looking for closure, not rescue. The families held candlelight vigils. They kept the children's rooms exactly as they'd left them. They celebrated birthdays with empty chairs and uneaten cake. And every morning, Maria Rodriguez still made Emma's lunch, just in case this was the day her daughter came home. The call came from an unlikely source: Thompson's landlord, Robert Hayes. Thompson had been renting a small house about 40 miles from his apartment, a property Hayes rarely visited. But Thompson's rent was 6 months overdue, so Hayes drove out to check on the property and start eviction proceedings. "I heard voices when I was walking up to the front door," Hayes later told police. Children's voices. At first, I thought maybe squatters had moved in with their kids. But then I heard someone shushing them, telling them to be quiet. Hayes called the police instead of confronting whoever was inside. When officers arrived, they found the front door unlocked. The house appeared empty. But Detective Park, who had rushed to the scene, heard something that made her freeze: a child's cough coming from below the house. The basement access was hidden behind a false wall in the kitchen pantry. It took officers 20 minutes to find the mechanism that opened it. When they did, they discovered stairs leading down to a finished basement that didn't appear on any building plans. And at the bottom of those stairs, they found all 12 children, alive. What the children had endured for 6 months defied comprehension. Thompson had created an elaborate underground environment designed to keep them healthy but completely isolated from the outside world. The basement was larger than the house above it, extending under the backyard. It had been divided into sections: a sleeping area with 12 small beds, a play area with toys and books, a classroom area with desks and a whiteboard, and what Thompson called the preparation room. The children had been told that their families had been killed in a terrible disaster. Thompson convinced them that he was protecting them from a dangerous world above. He showed them fake news reports about wars and disasters, told them the air outside was poisoned, that everyone they'd known was dead. "He made us believe we were the only ones left," said Emma Rodriguez, now 9 years old, during her interview with child psychologists. "He said if we went outside, we would die too." He said he was keeping us safe until it was time. Time for what? The preparation room held the answer. Thompson had been training the children for relocation. He told them that when they were ready, they would go to a new place where they would have new families who would take care of them. But the children were never supposed to leave that basement alive. The preparation room contained restraints, sedatives, and detailed plans for what Thompson called transition procedures. In his journals, found hidden behind the water heater, Thompson wrote about his belief that children were being corrupted by modern society. He saw himself as saving them from a world he considered evil. I will prepare them for paradise, read one entry. They will never know pain, never know betrayal, never know the ugliness of this world. They will transition peacefully, and their innocence will be preserved forever. Thompson wasn't planning to traffic these children. He was planning to kill them, believing he was granting them eternal innocence. The children's rescue was as careful as it was urgent. Child psychologists were brought in immediately to help them understand that the world above ground was safe, that their families were alive and desperately searching for them. The hardest part, said Dr. Jennifer Walsh, the lead child psychologist, was convincing them that everything Thompson had told them was a lie. They had lived with his version of reality for 6 months. Some of them were terrified to leave the basement, convinced they would die if they breathed outside air. Mark Thompson was found 3 days later at a motel in Nevada, planning his next move. He had been living off cash, moving from place to place, but always returning to check on the children. When arrested, he showed no remorse. He told investigators he was protecting innocence from a corrupt world. He believed he was a savior, not a criminal. During his interrogation, Thompson revealed that the 12 children in his basement weren't his first victims. He had been testing his methods for years with homeless children, runaway teens kids whose disappearances wouldn't trigger massive searches. How many others were there? Detective Park asked. Thompson smiled. Enough to perfect the process. Mark Thompson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on charges including kidnapping, child endangerment, and conspiracy to commit murder. During his trial, investigators found evidence linking him to at least 7 other missing children cases dating back 12 years. The 12 children from bus number 47 underwent extensive therapy and slowly reintegrated with their families. Most have recovered remarkably well, though the psychological impact of their 6 months underground will likely affect them for life. Emma Rodriguez, now in 5th grade, has trouble sleeping in complete darkness. The Morrison twins refuse to be separated, even for short periods. But they're alive, they're home, and they're healing. The basement where they were held has been filled with concrete. The house above has been demolished. But the memory of what happened there serves as a stark reminder of how easily trust can be weaponized, how seamlessly evil can masquerade as protection. Detective Park, who led the investigation, keeps photos of all 12 children on her desk, not photos from their missing posters, but recent photos of them laughing, playing, living the normal childhood lives Thompson tried to steal from them. People ask me how someone like Thompson could fool so many people for so long, she says. The answer is simple. He understood that we want to trust. We want to believe that the people we entrust with our children's safety actually care about keeping them safe. Thompson exploited that trust perfectly. The case changed how school districts vet their drivers, how they track their buses, and how they respond to disappearances, but perhaps most importantly, it reminded every parent that sometimes the greatest danger to our children comes from the people we never think to suspect. Because evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like the friendly bus driver who knows every child's name and helps carry their heavy backpacks. For more true crime stories about the people we trust and the secrets they hide, subscribe to Dark Discoveries. Because the most dangerous predators are often hiding in plain sight.